it's Jess, it's Musicals with Cheese, let's get into it. Do you ever find yourself in a movie theater about to see your favorite musical finally adapted into film? You're watching it, you're into it, and then there's suddenly a song you don't recognize from any of the cast recordings that you listened to 45 times. Where did this come from, and why is it here? Well, those are what I like to call the songs only in the movies. I'm great at titling things. Yeah, give me an award, folks. But these songs are usually written to contend for Oscars and other types of awards during award season because they're trying to sneak it in without you noticing. But it also adds to the detriment of the plot usually because these are songs that were not intended to be here, and if there were story elements that weren't taken up, they probably would have been added in really early into the writing of the show. So really, this is pointless and it detriments the story. Especially when in adapting musicals from stage to screen, there's often cuts, so it just feels like, oh, you're taking away time from this to add to that? That don't feel right. But hey, I'm not one to look at only the negative of every situation. Let's talk about the best and worst songs written especially for the film adaptations of a stage musical. And this is in no particular order, and it is not an extensive list. I just came up with a few of them that are right off the top of my head that I want to talk about, so let's dive into it. Let's go, folks.
I have confidence in sunshine. I have confidence in rain. Confidence that spring will come again. Besides which you see, I have confidence in me.
Alright, let's start like in the 60s with The Sound of Music. There were two songs written especially for the film, and that is I Have Confidence, which gives Maria an I Want song that she really didn't have beforehand, aside from enjoying the sound of music and the hills and all that. So that is a very useful and emotionally setting up an arc there song. And Julie Andrews performs it so perfectly. They didn't even plan choreography. She just kind of made shit up as she was running, and it was great. She brought charm to that number. And literally, the only reason why this song works is because of Julie Andrews.
So somewhere in my
As well, another song written for the movie alone was Something Good, the romantic love ballad between the captain and Maria when they finally consummate their love. Oh yeah, spoiler alerts, I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of all these things, so you better, I don't care if you've seen them, you're warned. And this song is just so romantic, it's so perfect, it's so quiet, and it also sets up a history for both these people that you didn't quite get before. It shows how complete they make one another that you wouldn't get it before. I love these songs, and they both belong in the story and push it forward, which is not very common in songs that are written just for the film adaptation. So I approve. Stamp it on there. I approve of these two songs. Good job. You get a thumbs up.
Suddenly, you're here. Suddenly, it starts. Can two anxious hearts...
Now let's talk about one I don't like as much, Suddenly from Les Miserables, which is a really boring song written for Hugh Jackman about how he feels so different because now he's got a child that he has to take care of. It really is something that could have been done in a look or a glance, but explaining it out in song would work on stage rather than in a film. It feels like it's bloating a film that's already too long, especially when it's taking away from other songs that are cut in half, like Javert's Suicide, which is cut to bits, as well as Dog Eat Dog, which was cut entirely. So really, I don't feel like this is a necessary addition. As well, the song isn't that engaging, so I don't approve, disapprove, get the stamp it, don't approve this. This is bad show.
Maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time he'll stay.
But going on to the more positive side, let's talk about Maybe This Time from Cabaret, which was written by Kander Adab especially for the Cabaret movie. It did not exist in the original Broadway production. However, it has been put back into the subsequent revivals. This song is all about how, in this new love that Sally Bowles is feeling, she has discovered that maybe this time she might be happy, and there is a future there, possibly. It is a great moment that adds a lot of depth to a very otherwise absent-minded character. I think it's a very powerful addition, and it really makes her arc even more tragic. So yeah, I approve. Get the stamp in there. I approve this. I approve this song. Good job, folks.
I long to teach the world, rise up and reach the world. No one would listen.
we're going back to the negatives, to a deleted song, but it was still written especially for the movie, so I'm talking about it because it's my rules, my show. Get out of here if you don't like it. We're talking about No One Would Listen, written especially for the Phantom of the Opera 2004 adaptation. Like, the one thing we needed more in the Phantom of the Opera is the Phantom brooding about nobody being able to listen to them. If we needed any more reason to think he's an incel. Alright, so basically Gerard Butler sings by a lake about how his girlfriend doesn't like him, but no one would listen to his music and understand him, and he whines and he cries and he looks at his drawings and he's like, I'm so sad. And honestly, it was the right move to delete it. I approve of your choice, Joel Schumacher. As well, I think Andrew Lloyd Webber made a bad call writing it in the first place. Disapproved. I don't approve of this. But I do approve of Minnie Driver's cover in the credits. That's a cute little song, and it works a lot better there. So, half approved.
She'll be back. Next to me, who is he? She'll be back. She'll be back.
All right, let's talk about middling. I guess that's where I put this. She'll Be Back, which was also deleted from Into the Woods, but written especially for Meryl Streep by Stephen Sondheim. Written especially to fit in the plotline of Rapunzel, who is violently stepped on to death in the original Broadway show, but in this adaptation just kind of runs away and leaves the witch alone. You know, because Disney. Because Disney. Either way, she sings a song about how, she's gonna come back and she's gotta go and make her mistakes, which really takes the punch out of the entire scene, as well as the witch's eventual demise. Really, it's better to keep it vague whether or not she's gonna survive if she runs off with the Prince Dorky McDorkerson. So, it's best to keep it cut, but the song itself is okay. It's not anywhere close to, Sondheim's top 75, but it's not atrocious.
Don't say they just last a minute, that rainbows are only air. Don't tell me there's nothing in it. We've got to have hopes to share.
But I'm going to give an honorable mention here to another song that Sondheim wrote especially for an adaptation of Into the Woods to film, which is Rainbows, which he wrote in the 90s for a version of Into the Woods that was supposed to be produced by Disney and the Henson Company. This was between the baker and his wife, all about how he's not convinced that he's ready to have children and how he sees the world in such a pessimistic view and the baker's wife sees it in such an optimistic view, and how they can't seem to reconcile this and figure out their lives. It's a really cute song, and it has since been used in things like Marry Me a Little, and it was supposed to be put into the more recent movie, but they didn't shoot it. They didn't even consider it. So, I like Rainbows, don't like She'll Be Back, so I approve of it all. It's all approved.
Now I know she'll never leave me, even as she runs away.
All right, let's talk about a full disapproval and a big disapproval. Let's talk about Evermore from the Beauty and the Beast film. Yeah, I know it's technically a remake of the original animated film, but there was also a stage musical in between there that adapted the original animated film to stage, and they just completely ignored that entire musical with some great songs and some great additional moments. Instead, to get that lucrative award season time, they had Alan Menken and Tim Rice write a new song called Evermore that took the place of a much better song, If I Can't Love Her.
No spirit could win me, and no hope left within me. Hope I could have loved her, and that she'd set me free.
And really, when you listen to Evermore, all you can think of, If I Can't Love Her is so much better. Why don't we have that here? Yeah, so big disapproval there. A wasted opportunity. How dare you, Disney?
Where do we go from here? This isn't where we intended to be. We had it all. You believed in me. I believed in you.
And let's end on the most positive note I have, You Must Love Me, written especially for the Evita adaptation, and the first time Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice worked together in 20 years. And it shows their collaboration was when they were both at their best, and you can see them getting right back into it. This song takes place right after Ava Perón discovers that she's sick and dying, and she finally realizes, oh, my husband wasn't just using me as a pawn for political power. He does love me. It's so well used, it's reincorporated into future revivals and adaptations of the stage show, so it really, really is a powerful moment. And Madonna sings it very, very well in the movie. There have been some wonderful covers of it by Lana Del Rey as well, and Elena Roger plays it so beautifully. This song is a wonderful addition to the entire story that makes it more emotionally palatable and tells a character in-depth idea. So, highly approved. This is the most approved, and nothing's come close to it since then, sadly enough. Alright, you guys, thank you for watching my little video. What is your favorite musical songs that were written especially for the film adaptation and not the original show? Leave it down in the comments. As well, there is a brand new episode of Musicals with Cheese out today. It's a big one. Also, if you wouldn't mind liking this video, sharing it with your friends, telling your teachers, your adults, your folks about it, everyone around you about it. Click that bell icon so you get a little notification on your phone every time I do anything. So don't you want that? Don't you want me to control your phone? The president controls your phone and he can just send you whatever he wants. So give me that power too. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.